Okay, good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome all of us to Inside the Arena, season 14. With us inside the arena today is a very distinguished engineer. Her contribution to the development of engineering in Nigeria is simply beyond imagination. Today, we are going to be going through her career and everything that pertains to her personal life, and as far as engineering and other things we do not know about her. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest for Inside the Arena season 14, a very distinguished engineer, Nkechi, Society of Engineers. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I still remain your host, Engineer Ben O.C. Oko. And we are going to be going straight to the question. Before we do that, let us also inform our participants that we have rules for this program. The first section or segment of the program is what we call the direct free kick. And for the direct free kick, that is the time we allow the guests to respond to the questions directly from the host. And after that, that is the time we allow the guests to respond to the questions by the host. And then after that, we go to the corner kick segment where the participants will be free to ask questions. And after that, we go to the extra time. And that is the prize giving time. And today we have fantastic prizes to be won for this program. We have 3 fantastic prizes. The first of them will be a television. The second prize will be a refrigerator. And the third prize will be an iron, a pressing iron. These are fantastic prizes to be won today. So listen attentively and follow the program. You may be one of the lucky winners for today's program. With that, it's my pleasure to once again welcome our host, Engineer Nkechi Isigwe, for this wonderful edition of our program, Inside the Arena. Let's go straight to the question. In a nutshell, please can you tell us who is Engineer Nkechi Isigwe? Tell us everything we need to know about you, your family background, your academic background, and other things we need to know about you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Oku, for this honor. I was born on the 5th of May, 1949, on a Thursday. And I was born after 10 months. You know, when you look at the numbers, and if you count that Sunday is day 1, it means I was born on the 5th day of the week, 5th day of the month, 5th month of the year, after 10 months, and in the year 7 times 7, the year of Jubilee. So it probably says a lot about me. I went to primary school in Umuahia. After that, I proceeded to ACMGS LL1, where I did my secondary school, but it was interrupted during the war. So I also went to school during the war, almost at the tail end. And then immediately after the war, I went to Queen's School, Enugu, and finished my school set there. Then started the 6th form, then gained admission into UNN. And I was amongst the first 4 female engineers that UNN, that got into UNN. Actually, a year before us, one of my friends had gotten in but had an issue with the university. The thing about my admission was that apparently I was amongst the first 4 people, the first 4 who scored highest in the entrance examination. And so the university authority didn't know whether I was a boy or I was a girl, guessing by the performance. So when I resumed, the first thing the lecturers did were to subject me to a test to see if I was really the one. And after the test, the lecturer exclaimed, "So you are the one that wrote the exam?" I said, "Of course I am," and continued there. And of course, being amongst the first female, he couldn't understand how, according to them, I was that brilliant. So each time he says, I want to challenge him, because sometimes I may be doing 2 things at the same time. And when he says the exam, before the time over, I will have finished writing my papers. After a while, I decided that, okay, when they set the exam, the first 15 minutes, I'll just be looking around so that I don't finish too early. And that was how I started copying. But one of the lecturers still was not happy. So he decided that he was going to give me a receipt in the final year. So I had this receipt. But before then, I think sometime in my 3rd year or something, in one of the courses, he gave me an F. And I was very unhappy and decided that, okay, I've had enough in this university. I'm going to change. So I went, Lagos gave me an admission, Benin gave me an admission. So when I came back to Nsukka, I said, okay, just give me papers to say that I've done 3 years. The university, the vice chancellor heard about it, and all of them were running helter-skelter. They said, no, we are not going to allow you to leave the university. I said, okay, if you're not going to allow me to leave the university, what you're going to do is that lecturer will no longer teach me. Because if I can have an F, what will a motopark person do if you came to take that exam? So on that basis, that particular lecturer was not allowed to teach me, to be the one that would teach us as long as I was in that class. So he didn't teach us in the 4th year. So the 5th year now, the final year, because he's the head of department, he had to take a course. And as you will also predict, he failed me in that course. So I had to come for a receipt. But you know, I used to be very naughty in those days. So I went into his office when I came for that receipt. And I asked him, so you carried out this threat. Okay, now I'm going to show you that I'm also crazy. So I used something, hit up the lecturer inside his office, went out, took his key, locked him in, went and threw the key inside the bush, then deflated all his tires and broke all his windscreen. The university apparently demoted him after that. So I went to do my national service in NEPA, Kaduna, Mando Road. When I got there, I also created problems. I didn't know that sometimes bosses pretend that some things are bad because they want to award you contracts. So I went into the control room and I saw equipment that were not. And I said, what's wrong with this? They said, there's a problem. So I decided that, okay, if there's a problem, that's why I'm trained as an engineer. Solve the problem and started quarreling. That, why is this lady always repairing things? You know, so from there, they were now pushing me between Kaduna and Lagos. Lagos wanted me. Kaduna said no. My boss in Kaduna said no. He was not going to allow me. Poor man, he was punished for not allowing me to come to Lagos, but allowing me to go for maybe 1 week or 2 weeks to the engineering arm in Lagos. So when I was there, I now saw that I took a map of Nigeria and I was looking at it and I was looking at the grid. I said, there's no grid between Calabar and Northeast, you know, from Obudu area. And I was asking, why is it that we don't have anything there? And they were blowing grammar. So I took paper and drew the grid the way it's supposed to be. Because prior to that, we had strung the line to Boronu, Medu. You know, so I now said, no, they must put a line there. Because if this is Nigeria also, we should have a line. We should have power given to those people, you know. And I'm happy that as of today, those lines have been put there. So after my national service, I didn't want to go to NEPA. They quarreled. At the end of the day, they said, okay, we will not start you on level 8. We'll start you on level 9. So, but we'll send you to Britain. I looked at it, but my passion was to go to the oil industry because that's where I worked during the war. You know, I worked in the petroleum marketing arm of Biafra. So one of my friends' friend who had just been employed in NNPC now said, no, I should come and have interview. That was when they were starting Kaduna Refinery in the early stages. So I went for the entrance exam to get into Kaduna Refinery. somewhere along the line, the people that came to interview us, the white people and the refinery manager, after the test, they decided that I should not be left in Kaduna. I should come to Warri Refinery. Unfortunately, my letter of appointment developed wings, but I was told that I was taken. So I came to Lagos and I went to the boss. He was the manager refinery. And I went to his office. I said I wanted to see him. He delayed in seeing me. Since, like I said, I'm a little bit crazy. I just walked across the secretary, opened the door. And I said, I'm here to see you. The poor man, he was shocked. He said, what is it? I said, I took exam for this. How come I was not taken? He said, what is your name? I gave him. So he called the secretary. I said, please, look out for this lady. Where is her distance? So one thing happened, and I was standing. He didn't ask me to sit down. So as a young guy, I just asked him, I said, excuse me, sir, don't you have manners? He dropped what he was doing. He said, what do you mean? I said, I came in here and I've been standing and I'm a lady and you didn't ask me to sit down. So do you expect me to be standing? He said, sorry, please sit down. He was there, they found out that I was taken. So they now gave me a photocopy of the letter of appointment. And I then learned that I was the first female engineer to be employed in NNPC, and that people were raising alarm. Why did they employ her? And then the Warri people that came now said that I have to come to Warri. And I said, no, it was Kaduna I was supposed to be employed in. So they said I must go to Warri. So I said, okay, I'll go to Warri after 1 month. So they had to now document me in Lagos. And said, okay, go. After 1 month, go to Warri. When I now got to Warri, the senior staff, as at that time, were not being paid allowance, overtime allowance. They say senior people are not allowed to be paid. And I said, why would they be paid? If they work, they should be paid. So I led the senior people to say, we are going to be paid. Unfortunately, we didn't have a union, but when I created problems, they called the refinery manager from Lagos. He now came and I said, first of all, you have to do overtime, So they now agreed, they called it on-call allowance, which is still being enjoyed by the senior staff of NNPC. And I went from there, let me fast track to Kaduna. I then went to Japan, and this was when Kaduna was being built. And I went to Japan to do software and hardware for the process computer. When I came back to Nigeria, I was posted to Kaduna. And anybody that knew this knew that there was a problem. We then decided that we would form Pengasa in NNPC. Of course, management refused. So staff went on strike. And when they called in the police, I told the police that they should hold me because that I'm the one that called out the staff. So they should leave the staff and carry me to their police station. They carried me to their police station. Unknown to them, I had personal relationship with the governor of the state called administrator. So I said, okay, you people have a rule that I'm allowed to make one phone call. They said yes. So I called the administrator. I said, hey, they've kept me in police custody. They say, which police? I asked them, they told me the station. I told him, he dropped under 20 minutes. The governor was there. I said, why are you holding? That's how they released me, and NNPC now agreed that they should form Pengasa. And that was how Pengasa was formed. Anyway, I paid a lot of, I paid for it because NNPC kept me on one position.
Of career and life that you have made impacts. Let me now take you straight to the engineering family. You know, you served as the second president of APWEN, and you are one of the 6 foundation members of APWEN, and I know that is very key. We want to know how APWEN started, how the dream came, and how it was nurtured to reality. Because today we have 6 APWEN presidents, 5 past presidents, and the current president of APWEN, Engineer Eteri, that joined us in this edition of Inside the Arena. We have Engineer Idiat Amusu, Engineer Nwakego Juku, Engineer Patricia Opene Odele, Engineer Nnolia Bedeye, and Engineer Dr. Patricia Opene Odele and Engineer Dr. Agobata, all joined for this program. You can see that we have massive attendance of your colleagues from the APWEN. So how did APWEN start? Give us a background on how you joined the Nigerian Society of Engineers and how it now metamorphosed to the formation of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, APWEN, where you served as its second president and also a foundation member of.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, as I said, I started NYSC in NEPA. And in NEPA, you have to join NSE if you work in NEPA. Unfortunately for me, I worked with Shomolu, Engineer Shomolu. You know, he was my boss at one point in NEPA. So he insisted that I must join NSE. So I joined NSE. So when I got to NNPC, you know, I made NNPC to recognize that if we are engineers, we have to join NSE. And so a number of people joined NSE, and whilst I was there, like I said, I had come back from Japan and I was transferred to Lagos. Whilst in Lagos, my boss had become a GM Project Engineering Division. And at the same time, my big boss in NEPA was transferred to NNPC as the managing director, as they were called at that time. So Mrs. Maduka put up an advert in the paper that we needed. She wanted us to form a group to be called Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria. As at that time, I think there was a women engineering group, but they were not engineering graduates. So we agreed that it would be called, will be the professional women. And you know, amongst the 6 people that started it, 3 of us, Engineer Nwakego and Engineer Beatrice Oduniyi, they are both on the platform now. We were all at Nsukka together. So when I was now going to answer to the call of Mrs. Maduka, I now told them, see, oh, this is what is happening. So 3 of us now went to join Mrs. Maduka, Mrs. Mayen Adetiba, and Mrs. Fumikadu to start Upwell. Immediately we started, I reached out to my other classmates, which included Idiat Amusu, Mary Okafor, and Mary Onyajo. It was only Idiat that agreed to join us. And that's how we started Upwell. And you know, because I had good relationship with my boss in NNPC, I now encourage NNPC that, you see, we are women and we don't have anything. So you have to help us to establish this Upwell properly. And that explains why NNPC launched us and why NNPC is very supportive of Upwell and NSE. So talking about that, when I became the president of Upwell and Khalil Inua became the president of NSE, he carried Upwell along, although he was saying that we have 2 presidents. One is small p, and that is Upwell. We were the small p. So one of the top lecturers at Nsukka became a Minister of Science and Engineering. And I went to visit him one day. And he said, so what's going on in NNPC? So I now told him, I said, sir, you know, I'm very upset because what I learned in Japan, I cannot even do it here, you know. I can't assemble a computer, neither can I write programs again, so that I'm disappointed. So in the process of our discussion, he now said, yes, the problem is the non-existence of infrastructure, engineering infrastructure in Nigeria. So he now said, we then have to put up a team that will now create this agency for science and engineering infrastructure. So I said, sir, you know, ministry, you can't do it alone.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah.
Before we come to that, because it's part of one area that we have to ask you questions about your participation in that. I just want us to exhaust. You have given us background to Upwell. I know very well that you served as Vice President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And I want you to give us background to your service to the profession relating to the Nigerian Society of Engineers, where you started from and where you got to.
Okay, when at that early stages, You know, we didn't have so many people in Nigerian Society of Engineers. So like I said, Shomolu dragged me into the electrical division of NSE. And there, they decided that I must take up a position. So I became the financial secretary of electrical division. And we grew that electrical division to create, I think, what is it called now? You know, this revenue mobilization or something. It was the electrical division that more like created that revenue mobilization like we have in Nigeria today. We also did the code of standards. We did the libraries. We got NNPC to be involved in NSE library, saying that any oil company that supports NSE library, it will be counted for them as having a library, and they could do a number of things. So at one point, I was treasurer of APWEN, the first treasurer of APWEN. At the same time, I was financial secretary of the division. Then I was also assistant financial secretary of Nigerian Society of Engineers. And if you go to records, you will see a number of things that we did there, including, I think, coding or certification in Nigeria. So there were a number of things that we did whilst I was inside the NSE. I rose up, I became chairman, in fact, chairman of committee. In fact, one of us was the chairman, and he was not coming for meetings. So one day I declared myself that we have been appointed to chair this committee. We have been appointed in this committee, and we must come up with results. And that's why I now decided that, okay, I will become the chair, assistant chair. And so we started having meetings, and we started moving out because we didn't have money in NSE. I decided that, okay, NNPC, which is basically an engineering company, must support us. And so we got NNPC to start funding the activities of Nigerian Society of Engineers and APWEN. We went through all that. There were quite a number of things that we did. It was even within that time, we got NNPC to now make members of Nigerian Society of Engineers and APWEN board members in NNPC. So NSE became board members in all the boards of NNPC. At the same time, we talked about gas being, gas being shared. So we said, no, we cannot continue to be burning gas. Why don't we start LNG? And that's how Khalil Inua was made chairman of LNG. And that's how Nigerian LNG started.
At what point did you decide to contest election in the Nigerian Society of Engineers? And what positions did you hold? What position or positions did you hold in NSC?
Okay, I won't even remember when I started, but I had become ESCO member. I was ESCO member I was assistant financial secretary for many years, assistant treasurer for many years in NSE. We went on and on, you know, till I was even reappointed or re-elected. I remember clearly in Boronu, I don't even know the year, you know, I was still elected member. And at one point, I don't even remember what it was that happened in NSE. And somehow they harassed me and I just carried my bag and went away. So as I did that, one of Salau, I think, now came to me and said, why do you behave like this? Why is it that they said that if they want Engr to leave, just upset her and she will leave the society for you? He said I'm stupid. So after that, I decided to come back to NSE. And that's when I contested for VP. And I did VP for 2 years. And when they rejected me in Kano, I decided that I was no longer going to contest for VP. I think I was also the first female to be made VP, what do you call, age has set in. You know, I was VP membership and VP, what's the technical one? The one that used to be the
professional development. Professional
yes.
development.
Yes, I was VP professional development. You know, I'm sure if you look up the records, you will see the amazing things that we did during that time. BPP happens to be one of the things.
Okay, before I ask you the next question, I want to show you something. If you will recognize now, is there anybody on this picture that you can recognize?
Hey, nobody. But I'm somewhere there.
No, you are not there. You were at this event, but can you recognize any of the guys in front?
No, I can't.
Okay. This event was the AGM of Engr branch of the Nigerian Site of Engineers, which was held, I think, in 2003 in Engr. And the guy on red tie is yes. By the special grace of God, the host of this program we are having.
I now remember, you know, that time
Engineer Ben Osi. I remember now. Okay, let me go back. Let me stop this here so that we can see your face. At this event, that was the first time in my life I met you. That was the first major NAC event we attended, and we were invited by Engineer Nwosu Obasi, who took over that day as the chairman of Engr branch of the society. We were already student members, and we were there, the likes of Engineer Chris Okoye and OTG. We are there. Many of them at Nikele Resort Hotel. And in the course of the program, you came in there as the vice president of the Nigerian Site of Engineers. You addressed us and you encouraged us. You spoke to us extensively on the need for us to, you know, remain in the profession and remain committed to the profession. You know, we saw the passion in you in mentoring young engineers. And some of the words you say to us on that day, gave most of us that push we needed, that have, taken us to where we are today. And that takes me to the next question. And I have seen over the years, I have remained very close to you, that drive, that mentoring spirit has not died in you. I want you to share with us what is the secret behind that? One of the things you love to do is to mentor young engineers. Every little opportunity you find, you want to, talk to young engineers, to mentor them, not just young engineers, even those who are your subordinates in the profession. Can you share with us the secret behind that and why you have that burning passion in mentorship?
Okay. When my mother told me that when I was very young, when they asked me, what do you want to be in future? I will always say, I want to be a teacher, and so that when I'm going, children, they will be saying, hello, miss, how are you? So that has always been my passion, to build up people. I don't believe in any other thing as much as I believe in mentoring people, in building up people. For instance, if I have money today and I have a need of a car and somebody needs to go to school, I will not buy a car. I will use all that money and support that person to go to school. Because I believe that everything in the world is created by engineers. And we need to mentor as many as possible. Because if we have engineers that are passionate, they will begin to create things, just like they created so many things in the outside world. Let me tell you something. When I was in Japan, I changed the software for the systems. I just said, no, this software is not good enough. So I changed this software. I started teaching people how they can write software to enhance the computers, So it has always been my passion. Once I see a young person, I want that person to be greater than me. I want whatever is hidden inside that person to come out. My brother's children, I trained them when they were small. And today, two of them, there are four of them. Two of them made first class. Two made second upper. And all four of them are making waves in Nigeria and abroad. So my passion is really seeing young people. And because I'm committed to engineering, it's a part of me. I want as many people as possible to be engineers. Now, I'm changing a little bit. I want the young people to be entrepreneurs. I don't like a situation where engineers develop something and then people from other professions are the ones benefiting from it. No, it has to change. Now, my new style is that whenever I see any opportunity, I want the engineers to be creative. I want the engineers to be creative so that we can move ahead in this country. Without the engineers, forget it. We are not moving anywhere. But I've seen that even though we have developed so many engineers, the way that we need to go now is to create entrepreneurs, make engineers entrepreneurs, empower them financially. Because when they are empowered financially, they will now move into the industry and then move into politics. Because if you know, in Nigeria, politics is all about money. So if the engineers don't have enough money, they cannot move into politics. That's why whenever you hear an engineer is contesting, I'm always all out to support that engineer to succeed, because we need to take over. We can no longer be workers for people. No, that has passed. You know. Can you hear me? Can you people hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on, man. Go
Okay.
on.
I said that's why it looks as if I like to teach people. I'm very passionate about it, because that's the thing that makes me happy, you know, seeing people progress. You know, sometimes I step on toes, but I don't have any apology, because the younger ones must grow more than us. I don't like a situation where in the world we don't have Nigeria taking the pride of place. I don't like it.
Now, talking about stepping on toes, you know, I have to take you. Now, talking about stepping on toes, I have to take you back to your days in the council of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. It was like you were the lone voice speaking in the wilderness. In fact, we had it that, you know, when they say nobody challenges the position of Mr. President during council meetings, that on many occasions in the council you refuse. If the president goes a way that you, or went a way that you felt was not right, you will always stand to raise your voice and raise your hand and will trouble the council until the president listens to you. What gave you that courage? And you also stood for women. You also stood for women engineers and pushed and advocated to have the inclusion of more women engineers in the council of the society. What gave you that courage to stand against sitting presidents or the...
You know, my father happened to have been in the army, and in the house he exerts his authority. And from childhood, I don't like it when somebody wants to oppress the other person because that person doesn't have a voice. So I will always stand up and tell my father that when I finish, he can decide to deal with me, whichever way.
Sorry for that break in transmission. I was about to ask you, what gave you that? Looking at the society at that time, that the society was a male-dominated society, and being one of the few women or the only woman in the council, you stood your ground and you made sure that you drove home your point in the council of the society without being intimidated by the number in the council. What gave you that courage? Can you share your experience in the council with us, and also challenges you had in the council?
That's why I'm telling you that the person I respect most in life and fear most is my father. But when he does something wrong in the house, I will stand up against him. I don't mind stoning him. He will flog me and I'll end up in the hospital. When I recover. When I come back, I will start again. So I knew that if I could stand up to my father, there's nobody I cannot stand up to. The highest they will do is do something to me, and I will stand it. And if you fight me, I fight you. I'm very good at fighting. Even in the university, I fight. When women go to fetch water and men come there, I fight the men. I can throw water on them. I fight too. I fight very well, you know. So I knew that in the council, there are engineers as I'm an engineer. They were elected as I was elected. So when a president wants to do something that is wrong, I will stand against it. I will say, no, Mr. President, you cannot do this. You know, if I could stand my ground in NNPC, when they want to do something wrong, when a boss wants to do something, I say, no, you cannot do this. It is wrong, and I will not allow you. So I will make trouble. It doesn't matter if you don't promote me. I will make sure that the right thing is done, and I don't stop. You know, when I was in ESCO, if they start, you know, in ESCO, you can't sit in that podium and raise your hand and talk. So I will come down to the floor of the council and I will disturb the whole council. I will be walking up and down until they listen to me. Even if it's the past presidents, I will tell them to their face, this thing you're doing is wrong. You are just against us women. You're against this set of people. You're against this set of people. When I remember one time, they used to fail so many people when they want to become members. So one day I got tired. I said, what is all this nonsense? These people you're failing, they went to university, passed. Some of them had second class upper, second class lower, first class, passed third class, and now you're telling me that they can't pass the questions that you're setting for them. You cannot tell people, everybody is not working in the built environment. Now you tell them to come and bring you design. You must look at what they are doing in school, what they are doing in their offices. That's where you will ask them for their experience. Cannot bring anything. So one of the times in Ibadan, I looked at the intake. So many failures. I told them that day, I said today, everybody that wrote this exam or whatever interview we gave them will pass. Whoever is the chairman of this committee, you will bring him down today. And today, you will discard this committee. You must scrap this committee because they are just good at failing people. And I will not stand I will not be here in this council and you people will be failing them. So I made sure there was nothing that was done that day until they passed everybody that came and removed the committee. Because you can't continue doing this. Why should I be afraid of anybody? If you're saying the truth, you're saying the truth. And you can only say the truth. If it is otherwise, then if that person wants, he can come and fight me. If he fights me in word, I'm fighting back in word. If he says that, okay, let us do physical, I'm ready. You know, since I can fight on the street, why wouldn't I fight there? So that's what
I want to bring it to perspective because one of the problems we face in the country and also when it comes to leadership is when you have sycophants around leaders who don't really tell them the truth. They want to tell them what they want to hear, and that is, I respect the president of Koren. I respect the president of Fnse. I think I saw him here. In fact, Fnse president challenged me. One day I told him something. It was a truth. And he told me, Ben, this is what I want. In fact, I pray you will come to my council so that I need people who can, if you are my friend, you have to stand up and tell me the truth, no matter how bitter it is. You tell me the truth so that I don't derail, I don't do the wrong thing. And also, that's one thing also with my very good boss, Engineer A.A. Rabiu. And that's why for many years, going to more than 10 years now, we've been very close. Many people may not know where our friendship started. It's because he wants you to tell him the right thing, not what will be sweet to his ears. He doesn't like it when you are a sycophant around him. You want to tell him what he wants to hear. And that is one thing that kills leadership, you know. And I don't know how those leaders at that time took you, challenging them, confronting them over issues you raised that you felt were right. Did they accept it, or were you suppressed? Were there attempts to suppress you or to, you know, push you aside? What challenge, I want you to share with us, what challenges did you encounter, in as much as you were able to succeed in some of them? I know in some you might have, you know, had some resistance or opposition. How were you able to manage the situations at that time?
Okay, in fairness to them, you know, some of them loved me so much that when they realized that I will always stand for the truth, they decided that, okay, there's no point arguing with Engineer Isigwe, because she's one used to call me one-man riot squad, you know, and I think they compartmentalize me, you know. If it's something they don't want to hear the truth, they will make sure I'm not in that forum. They will do that thing without me being involved.
They will hold
But they
the meeting
also
in
know
midnight.
that if I see afterwards, I'm going to oppose it. I don't realize whether they liked it or they didn't like it. You know, I didn't bother because they knew that fighting me, if they are on my bad side, it will not be good for them. But I think one other thing they recognize is that I didn't have any ill feelings towards anybody. And whoever is there, I made sure I supported that person, especially financially. I made sure that NNPC was giving them the money that they required in those days. Because if I tell NNPC people, if I go there and say, NSC needs 5 million, and they say, it's too much. I say, okay, maybe we need 8 million. They say, madam, you're going. I say, okay, 10 million. They say, please don't go for it. They call them, give them 10 million. We don't want this wahala again. Just give them, you know. So they knew that even though it looked as if I'm against them, I'm still with them. The only thing is that I'm telling them the truth. And you know, like you said, A.A. Rabiu is one of them, you know. He knew that despite whatever differences we had, I was always supporting him when I felt he was right. And I must give him the kudos that all this notwithstanding, he didn't take anything personal. He happens to be the first NSC member that put me to become a board member. You were asking me what the others were doing. They were making sure that I don't become board members in anything. Even though board membership is brought by me, they will remove me. In fact, it happened to them in Ministry of Education. When the minister didn't see my name, she canceled everything that NSE sent in. Said that I came to her and said, bring board membership for NSE, that I didn't ask for myself. I said for NSE. and they didn't bring my name. So she said she was not going to put anybody on any board. You know, I don't have ill feelings towards people. I don't even have the energy. I can't handle it. So they knew that, okay, we will not take her on any trip, except maybe the trip that I brought. Sometimes when they go to NFPC and they are put on a trip, they remove my name after using my name to get this. So NFPC now changed and decided that, okay, because Engineer Isigwe is not going to allow us not to
Do you
sponsor.
consider that a prize? One of the prizes. I believe you consider that as one of the prizes you have paid for being fair in your position. Yeah. Okay. Now you mentioned board. I will take you to board now. You have served in the Council of Koren. You have also served as one of the pioneer members of the board of Naseni. You know, I stopped you when you wanted to share your experience in Naseni. In 1 minute, can you just share your experiences in Koren as a member of the Council of Koren? I know the president of Koren has joined us for this program, and also in Naseni in 1 minute.
Okay. You know, in Koren, this C, I was one of the people that created C. Before us, before Khalil took up position as president of Koren, there was nothing like C. So we are the ones that created it. We are the ones that also created this question of making sure that quacks do not operate, you know, in council, in Koren, and I think a number of other things. Then in Naseni, I was now the one that encouraged the then Professor Isigwe, to be precise. He now made Khalil the chairman of the committee and put, I think, 150, at least 100 to 120 engineers on that committee that created Naseni. I was also the one that started and helped NMPC to create NCDMB board and a number of things. Let me also say here that all the pipeline for petroleum products.
We are winding down. We are winding down on this segment of the program, and for those who are just joining us, we have, this is season 14 of Inside the Arena. It's an explosive one. We have inside the arena a very delectable engineer, Nkechi Isigwe, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, second president of APWEN, and two-time vice president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. And we have in this program those who have joined us from different parts of the world. I know I've seen an army of very distinguished engineers, the president of Koren, the president of Nigerian Society of Engineers, past president of NSC, Olorufemi, Engineer Wanori, Engineer Ara. And of course, I did mention Engineer Chris Okoye here earlier. Engineer Chris Okoye has joined us, and Engineer Eric Onyiwu. And we also have about 6 past presidents of APWEN, and the current president, Engineer Derrico, is with us. We have Engineer Idiata Musu, Engineer Mwakego Juku, Engineer Patricia Opene Odele, Engineer Noli Abede, Engineer Dr. Agubata, Engineer Ojelade, And we also have with us Engineer Odunuyi, Engineer Ihanacho, Engineer Aniago, Vivian Aniago, a Deputy Director in Departments in the Ministry of Works. All these are very top female women engineers who have joined us today, because one of them, one of us, who has paid her dues as far as the engineering profession is concerned, is our guest inside the arena. When we are talking, it's like a coincidence, but not, you mentioned the tie between you and Engineer Idiat Amusu, how you invited her. And coincidentally, when she appeared inside the arena, she did tell us that the person that introduced her to the Nigerian Society of Engineers was Mrs. Engineer Shomolu. That's our past president, the wife of Engineer Shomolu, invited her first to the Nigerian Society of Engineers. You invited her to happen. And now the person that introduced you to the Nigerian Society of Engineers is also our very distinguished engineer, Shomolu, our past president. So two friends introduced by a family to the society, and two of you also rose to become presidents of APON. That's a very wonderful thing. Now, Gukotsia. And how did you come about with that name? Gukotsia Nigeria Limited. Tell us about the company and tell us what you do in the company and everything we need to know about your private practice outside public service.
Okay, we haven't done much in Bukonsia because I don't have the energy to fight again. To get contract, you have to fight. But I must say something here. We are also into retail, haulage of products. And when I was to start this haulage, I didn't have 1 naira. But a young man turned out to become big in NNPC, Bayo Ipiroba. I was part of the team that created NNPC retail. So when they wanted educated people to go into haulage, he now called on me. I said, look, I don't have any money to buy a new truck. But he made sure that banks gave me money to buy the trucks. So I was into trucking until I had issues with the Zenith Bank, who decided to overcharge me. But apart from that, I do contracts for NNPC, even though I don't have the energy again to go in there. But they used to give me a lot of contracts, consultancy, contracting. But like I said earlier, my passion is developing people. And so I don't do so much of contracting unless I'm sitting in my house, like so many other contracts that have been given to me in NFC. Somebody, a staff will wake up and say, Engineer Isigwe has one company. And they will put together contracts, and which doesn't happen so often in Nigeria. They will just bring the contract approval to my house and say, come and do this contract. So, it's a bit difficult when you don't go to look for it. As for Bukonsia, it's made up of, that name is from the initials of the members of my family. All the members of my family, their initials are there. And like I said, in this climb, when you have to go to somebody's office, I'm not very good at that. And sometimes when I go there, like they say, when I go to ask for contract, I don't want to push Nkechi in front because I don't want to go and get contract only for myself. So I will look for an avenue where, for instance, if it is Upwell, I will look at how many Upwell people have companies. Then when I'm going there, I'm presenting about 5 companies. I'm making sure that those 5 companies are giving jobs. So that's why when I don't see anybody that is working in a particular area, I find it difficult to go and look for contracts. But if I have, even if it is men, I know that they want something, then I can move with them. But to go and get contract just for myself,
I will ask you 2 questions. Okay, I will ask you 2 questions in one. I have just 2 questions to ask you before we go to the next segment. One will be 2 in 1 question, and the other one finally. Number 1 is you have served the society, both NSC and Korean, in many capacities, and you did that when you were much younger. And now, if you look back at what you did in those days and look at the society now, looking at the society now, what if you were to be in the present Nigerian site of engineers or Korean as a council member, what would you have done at this present stage? Or what were the things that you did not do, you felt that you would have done in those days that you didn't do that? If given the opportunity, you would have loved to do them now. And again, the president of NAC is listening, the president of Koren is listening. What is your advice to Koren, and what is your advice to the Nigerian site of engineers?
Right. One of the things that I will want them to do is to empower as many engineering companies as possible. Empower as many engineering companies as possible, owned by engineers. When I talk to some of the engineers that are in top positions, I tell them, why is it that we have Julius Berger? How many engineering companies have we brought up to become like Julius Berger? This is what I want them to do. And in talking about that, that is why we created NETCO. Because once I was even in NNPC, I tried as much as possible to give a number of our engineers that were in private practice, I made sure that they got contracts, especially consultancy. But I was amazed and upset by the fact that when they get this contract, they go and get foreigners to come and do the contracts for them. They become like portfolio carriers, and it didn't go well with me. So I said, okay, let us create engineering company within NNPC. And that was how NETCO was created. When I saw that NNPC was not giving NETCO job, I transferred myself from PPMC, where people make money, to NETCO. And when top management saw that I was sitting down and lying down in NETCO, not doing any work, they created an environment for NETCO to prosper. Today, NETCO is the one that is supporting pensioners in NNPC. So what I'm telling our president is create enabling environment, create as many engineering companies as possible. Some may fail you, but if 1 or 2 succeed, then you will be happy. Just like NCDMB has created so many engineering companies, But I think that more can be done. Let us empower the engineers. Let us empower the engineers. Future we were going to create NCDMD say. He said, if I can put in the hands of every Nigerian engineer $5,000 per month, I will be happy. So for me, if we can have as many engineering companies that can take jobs like Julius Berger does and a number of other companies who are foreign here, I will be happy. So that let other countries, especially African countries, now call Nigerian engineering companies to come and work in their places. That will make me happy. So I'm asking Koran, and I keep telling them, all the people that are coming for this examination, those young people have such wonderful ideas. Let us create companies out of this. Let us make these ideas to become reality. When they do that, I will be very happy. And like I told the president of NSE, I don't want him to leave before making sure that power comes to every home, that we will have 24/7 power supply in every home in Nigeria. It is possible. Japan had it some 40-something years ago. Why can't we have it now? The effort is from them. Government, if they are looking at government is not going to do anything. Because people in government, and with all due respect, including our people, they are only after their pockets. They are not after empowering the populace. So we have to start from NSE and Korea. That's what I will tell them. You can't hear me. We've lost him. We've lost.
Sorry about that. Now, I believe the president of the two presidents have heard what you said, and the one important point you made, which I want to dwell on, is that it doesn't matter that some may fail. It doesn't matter how many that fail but once one or two succeeds, that is a very big, plus to the profession. And I know they have taken note of what you say. It's just like an adage that says you aim at the moon, even if you miss the target, it may hit one of the stars. So that still means that you have hit a target. Now, finally, if you are asked to write a book about engineering,
can you repeat?
Isigwe, a book about your life, what would that book, the title, the caption of that book be? If you are to write it. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, the title, yes. You said if I were to write a book on myself, what would be the title?
Yeah.
I would say the title would be the empowerment and capacity building of Nigerians. Empowerment, capacity building of Nigerians. That's what I would want to write a book on. And maybe in that book, I will now explain the things that I have done, even if a number of people don't know I'm the one behind it, but they will know. And I will take it in sectors, both agricultural,
Wow.
power.
Wow, that's interesting. That's impressive because we have on this.
Mhm. It's like we lost our host. Ben, where are you? Ben, where are you? Wow.
I was not off by network. I think you gave Mr. President an advice that he should ensure that there is power in every home. I think one assignment you're going to give him is to ensure, because he's also a network engineer, to ensure that there is no network failure in Nigeria when it comes to internet. And we're wrapping it up. I wanted to say that before you, we have had Engineer A.A. Rabiu, who was the first man to be inside the arena. And when he was asked the question, what will the book of his life be? And he said the topic will be, the caption will be an engineer without borders. And when Nkechi came on board, we asked him, coincidentally, we reminded him, he never knew that he was born, the day he was born, on the 16th of February 1958, was the same day the Nigerian Society of Engineers was founded in London. So he was born on the day NSE was founded. And based on that, the book of his life, he said, will be born an engineer. And we also have had Engineer UGG bring the journey so far, and we are having you also giving us a beautiful caption on what the book of your life will be. On a final note, what is your final word for Nigeria and Nigerian leaders?
I will ask the Nigerian engineers to be courageous, to focus on something. I told my baby boy, my nephew, when he was growing up, I said, in the world, you must make a name. Huh? I told him, I said, you must make a name for yourself. Find a problem and provide solution for it. The world will know you. Find a problem and provide solution for it. Be encouraged, the Nigerian engineer. Know that you can make a name in Nigeria and make a name elsewhere. Be the engineer and really let that word engineer be alive in you. Show the world what you can do. And God willing, you will succeed.
All right, thank you very much, Engineer Nkechi. Isigwe, past president of the Nigerian Society of, past vice president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and past president of Apple, for being our guests in the 14th edition of Inside the Arena. It's been explosive, it's been wonderful, you know, listening to you and some of the experiences in life and your achievements and accomplishments, of to ask you questions, you know, to know more about you and some other areas that I did not touch. And I know even one day will not be enough for us to touch everything about you, cannot be summarized just in one day or even a couple of minutes or hours. We'll be opening the floor for our members to ask questions and make contributions. And we have a rule: if you have a question, you click the reaction button and you see raise hand. You raise your hand, and once you raise your hand, we are going to unmute you to ask your question. And the first person I have seen that raised the hand, interestingly, is the man that won the first prize of the Inside the Arena Engineers. He was the one who won the first prize. We have fantastic prizes to be won. We have a television. These prizes are going to be these prizes are going to be won today. So for those who joined us earlier, that is the advantage of joining the program on time, so that you can listen attentively and capture every part of the program. You don't know where the question will be coming from. I will now unmute the president of the society, Engineer Tasu Sahal Gidari, to ask his question. Mr. President, sir.
Thank you, Ben. Our mommy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to bring something that you have not said about yourself.
You
see, with all the trouble you think you are making, you didn't tell them that you are a peacemaker. I know the kind of calls, the kind of visits I received from you on so many issues in the last 6 months. So it's not only making trouble, making sure people are doing the right thing, but you also try to bring people, warring factions together. So you are a true mother, and we pray God will preserve you for us and continue to do the good work you have been doing. Thank you. That's my comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President, sir. But we've lost you again. Okay, Ben. Somebody. We've lost Ben again. No?
Fidel.
Well, since I'm the co-host,
Hello.
I'm seeing it. Okay. Ben
Hello.
has come up.
Hello.
Go on.
Hello.
Please make it 30 seconds, please.
Me? Thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you very much, Engineer Isigwe. And I wish to apologize for all the prejudices you encountered in your early life. But I wish to commend you for locking up that lecturer. How I wish that many more lecturers in Nigeria should be locked up and flogged. Because I do believe that many of them are not even qualified to be lecturers in the first place. And I also want to make another comment. How I wish you hadn't joined the public service. How I wish you had joined a consultancy firm. I don't know which one was really big when you graduated. Because all the good people going into NNPC, going to one government department or the other where they are not developed as engineers, where they cannot handle problems from the basic things and solve them. Let me just come nearer. You made a comment, says some engineers who are giving contracts gave them to friends or colleagues working overseas. Yes, I was brought back in
Okay,
1970.
I think we will take.
Let me ask a question then. Do you think that we need reforms in our education, training, and apprenticeship first before we can hope to improve things engineering-wise in Nigeria? We have to work on our educational system first, including working on that kind of lecturer who failed you unjustifiably. That's all part of education reform. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. Please, can we make it just straight to the point so that we can, accommodate others and also finish on time.
I apologize.
Engineer Ujan. Engineer Ujan.
Yes, so I'm very grateful, Ben. And I want to say a big congratulations to my sister, my big sister. You've gone through it, and I want to tell you that most of us following went through this almost the same kind of societal, would I say, prejudice. But I want to congratulate you for having pulled the bull by the horn. And you have led a lot of example which we all should emulate. You have shown that you're a mother indeed, and that you're a real woman. A real woman seeks for the benefit of others. And I just want to ask, in 2007 or 6 or thereabout, you contested for the post of the president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and you withdrew. By your nature, by the tough nature that you are, what made you withdraw?
Okay, that's your question. Take it.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ma. We will take the next person. Yetunde Aladeton. Your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma, for sharing your experiences with us. I just want to ask, what advice do you have for those of us that are the younger ones? I remember you said severally when you stood your grounds, they were in quotes and unquote some kind of punishment, and things like that. So in a situation whereby a lot of people are used to psychophancy, they don't like sharing the truth and all that, what would you advise for those of us coming up to do in that situation?
Okay, Ma, I think that's the last has raised his hand. I'll allow you to respond to the questions so that we can go to the next segment of the program.
Okay, thank you so much.
You will do that in 2 minutes, man.
Yes. Let me start with the first person who asked about what I think should be done to education and others in Nigeria. I think really we need to look at our curriculum, because the training that we're getting in Nigeria, and especially now, does not create room for the young ones to grow. There should be something about entrepreneurship added to what they have in education now. Because if we don't do that, given the fact that we have so many people graduating from university and not having a job, we should be able to change the education so that when they come out, they can start something on their own. So we need to change that, and we also need to change the mindset of the people. And I'll take Yetunde's own. You see, I have learned the hard way. Sometimes in what we have in the world, you need to be diplomatic. You need to pretend that you didn't know people have done something bad to you. You have to be diplomatic, but you must hold your integrity. You must pretend to be stupid, but at the same time, steering in the right direction. What do I mean? You don't have to, for instance, you don't have to go and fight your boss. Even though you know the boss is doing something wrong to you, you go to him, you say, okay, sorry, so about the other day. But this is, okay, why don't you think we can do this other way? You know, you approach the person, a smile on your face, and behave as if you don't recognize what he's doing, but be focused on what you want to achieve. That must always be at the back of your mind. What do you want to achieve? Don't have enemies. Don't make enemies. My word is, don't make enemies where you can make friends. Focus on your objective. And then what made me withdraw? Hey. I don't know whether I will answer this one, because when they called us together, you know, during the contest in Kano, and they were going along tribal lines, and they were not going with what you want to bring to the society. I told them there and then, in that committee that they set up, I said, I will not contest again, because I don't believe that this society wants the best. And I will walk out from this society after what has happened. And actually, I walked out. But MB Shehu came to me when he became president and asked me to come and help him. I should come back to the society. That he knows I was offended. But please, I should come back to the society because of him. And I came back. And I found out also there were so many other people who were chairmen of some branches who because of what happened, left the society. I had to also go personally to those people and say, please, come back, come back. We have to develop this society. Don't worry about what has happened to me. If it was God's wish that I will become a president, I will. But along the line also, NSC decided to bend backwards and insisted that they must open up the space so that I can come and contest. But you know, I don't normally go back on my words once I have said something. So that's why I didn't come back. It's not any other thing. I just said, well, if the society didn't want me, why should I be there? But like Alabi will tell me, he said, we cannot leave the society because they decided not to allow us to run. Our aim is not to become the president. Our aim is to encourage Nigerian Society of Engineers. It's for us to build the future. And therefore, I cannot step back from it. It doesn't mean that if I'm not the president, the society will not move forward. No, I can contribute to the society. And it's the same thing in Apwen. It was Nnoli Apede when she was president, who didn't even know me, that came to me and said, Madam, come back to the society. And I came back to Apwen after I left because of a number of things. So what I'm now telling Ujam is, don't give up. The society is ours. Nobody forced us to read engineering. And therefore, since we have read engineering, we must ensure.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. I think we are going to be, we allow Engineer Onyi just 5 seconds, and the Naomi 5 seconds, and so that we can wrap it up for today, please. Engineer Onyi, Eric.
Okay, thank you very much.
Eric.
My dear sister, congratulations. You've done wonderfully well.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't expect anything less. I just want to ask one question. And my question has to do with your comments about developing the Julius Bergers of Nigeria. That has been the desire of all of us. But looking at the Nigerian situation and the Nigerian practices, do you really think that is feasible? I say this because a couple of years back, Engineer Ogolo and some senior engineers put thoughts together and floated an organization that was called Giga Plus. That organization was an umbrella body of engineers who felt the same way you are feeling, that look, we should have a mega organization that can also challenge the likes of Julius Bergers and the like. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the lane, this big organization has not had any major patronage because of the nature and the practices of our procurement system. I begin to wonder that given the penchant of our politicians to patronize international firms, in quotes, and also the love of our bureaucrats for some of these multinationals, do you think that no matter whatever NSC or Current does, that we will be able to build that kind of organization of your dream that can compete with Julius Bergers and become the organizations or the companies to watch or the companies to be promoted and to be used by other African nations? Do you think it is feasible, given what is happening in our environment? That's just my question.
Take the final
Okay,
one.
thank you.
We just take the final one, Engineer Ehanacho. We now wrap it up.
Okay.
You will do that in 30 seconds now.
Very much, my Honorable Ben, and congratulations to Engineer Isigwe. I'm so happy to know a woman of her caliber. I've worked closely with her for 6 good years under NSC and even outside the country under Society of Women Engineers too, US. With her strategic approach to life and her leadership style, I want to find out why is it that she does not want to move further, because she's her passion is in capacity building, and also she loves engineering with a passion. Why is she not moving further to enter into politics? Because we are all shying away from this politics, but I believe that, I know that that is where our fate is being decided in this country. So if we continue to shy away from politics, honestly, there is no way we will occupy our rightful position in this country. So I want to know what is it that is dragging her back, because she has put in so much in engineering family, and she has to, expand it to the whole country as a whole. So that is my question to her. What is dragging her back? Thank you.
Okay, Emma, we will give you just 1 minute to respond to the 2 questions so that we can go to the next segment.
Okay, thank you so much. Eric, it is possible to create a Julius Egg from Nigerians. And why do I say that it is possible? To create that is why we created NCDMB. And we created it in the oil industry because that's where we could do it at that point. But we wanted it done all over in Nigeria. I will advise whoever wants to start to go to NCDMB because there is opportunity there. One other thing, we are working on the ground to ensure that the person who has NCDMB will do something in that direction. And that's why I am challenging the president of Koren. I've challenged him privately to say, take cognizance of what we have put down in NCDMB and ensure that a Nigerian company becomes one of the major companies in this country. We can do it. If you have to subtly blackmail people to do it, then let us blackmail them. Just like I gave the example of how I had to transfer myself from one division in NMPC to another to ensure that that company was given contracts. The same thing can be done if we are focused. If we determine where we want to move, which company we want to move into, we should go there and ensure that that person empowers us. What I'm saying is, it is possible. We can do it, but we need to be focused. We need to be focused. Then to Engineer Ihanacho, somehow I don't fit in so much in this country. because it's difficult for me, because sometimes they will want the things that they will want you to do, you may not want to do them. At an early age, and not many people know it, I was to have been made a minister at age 30-something. I went to them, I said, don't call my name. If you mention my name, I'm going to go to the newspapers and say I am not going to be. Because if I enter there, you will not listen to me. So why would I now want to go and do something that I know nobody will listen to me? And Ijoma, I don't have the energy to do politics in Nigeria. That's the basic truth. But you can be sure that I will support anybody who comes up. I will be there in that person's campaign team. But to take that mantle, my dear, it's not possible. And like I told some of my lecturers, I said I cannot go through what I went through in my undergraduate career. I do not want to pass through that again, because I don't want to break down. I don't want to be mentally stressed. I don't want it. That's why I have not gone back to school. I cannot handle it. I'm sure none of you would like to see me roaming the streets as a mad person. I can't handle it. I can't handle that stress. That's why I do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for having you as our guest today inside the arena. We want to sincerely appreciate you for your time. And we want to thank all the participants who have joined us for today's program. We are going to be going straight to the next segment of this program, and that is what we call the extra time. The extra time is the time when we ask questions to the participants, and the fastest fingers. Today we are going to be having 3 fastest fingers. The fastest fingers are going to be going home with fantastic prizes. A television, a fridge, and a pressing iron. Very fantastic prizes. The prizes are courtesy, 2 of the prizes are courtesy of the family of Engineer Nkechi Isigwe, and the last prize is also courtesy of one of his mentees, who happens to be the host, the host of this program, Engineer Ben Osi Oko. After the program, we are going to call him to see him to thank him for donating. We have a rule. If you send in the answer before we ask you to send, you are going to be automatically disqualified. And the question we are going to ask, we don't need any abbreviation. You are going to write in full. We don't need any abbreviation. You are going to send your answer in full. Engineer Nkechi Isigwe told us she was born on the 5th of May. I don't want to mention the year. And also, she was born on a particular day. What day of the week was she born? Answer. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What day of the week? You can send in your answers. Ma, you will now look at the answers being sent. The first 3 people to send in the correct answers, the correct answer will be declared the winners of this edition. I think you can now go to the chat box to see the answers being sent. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, ma, what is the correct answer?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday. Yes.
Okay, from my own end, the first person I'm seeing is Sean. Sean, Thursday. The second person I'm seeing is President Koren, and I believe that is Engineer A.A. Rabiu. And the third person that I saw Thursday is Brahimo Sahid, Thursday. You confirm from your own end. I have Sean, so I have current president, and I have Sahid, Brahimo. You confirm from your own end. You see.
Yes, they are the ones. Sean, President Koren, and Brahimo are the first three.
Then I have also received Brahimo. 1 minute. I want to be sure if that was to me or sent to the platform. We have Sean Brahimo, and then we are going to be having a consolation prize. Someone who wants to be anonymous just sent me a message. It's a direct message to me for an additional prize, cash prize of 20,000 naira. So that will go to the fourth person, and we will now pick the fourth person from the chat box, and the person will be going home with a cash prize of 20,000 naira. Let's look at the chat box, please. I have President Brahimo, and we have Oluchukwu Okechukwu. I think that is what I'm seeing.
Yes, Oluchukwu
Okechukwu. Oluchukwu Okechukwu. Please, I want to bring on these people to the. Please, can you show your videos? I want to bring you on so that we can see your faces. We have Sean. Okay, I've seen you. We have the President Koren. So he has joined the list of winners. And the third is Sahid. Okay. I'm trying to bring all of you on. And we have the last, but not the least, Oluchukwu Okechukwu. Okay, good to see all of you, and I have to unmute you so that we can say hi to you. Oh, I can see Sean. Sean, unmute your mic. And we allow the president to also unmute. Shahid, Olubumi, Brahimo unmute, and we have Oluchukwu Okechukwu unmute. Sean, can you wave your hand so that we can see you? Hi, everyone. So you are the winner of our television Hisense television, smart television, and we have fridge also, table fridge going to our second winner, and that is the president of Korea, coming second with the table fridge, the bedside fridge, and we also have Brahimo coming third with an electric iron Rahimu, can we see you? Wave your hand, please. Mr. President, we can't see your face, sir.
No,
Good
sorry.
evening, everyone.
I'm in a relaxed mood. You can't see my face.
Okay, sir. And finally, Oluchukwu, can we see your face?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Lord, for the
I'm
lecture.
sending my
Thank you.
number. I'm sending my number to the chat box. You can see my number. I think I sent it to direct message. Let me send to all. Okay, my number is 0806-003-7227 or 080-6003-7227. That's my number. After the program, the winners can contact me so that they can pick up. I will tell them when to come to pick up their prizes. On behalf of my team, I want to sincerely thank our guest, Engineer Nkechi Isigwe, for being our guest for today's program. And I want to sincerely thank all our participants who have participated for today's event, and an army of our very senior colleagues, very distinguished engineers, also from the Apwen family. Want to thank all of you and all the past presidents of Apwen, the president of Koren, the president of NSC, our very distinguished senior engineers for participating in this edition of Inside the Arena. And to the 4 winners, we say very big congratulations to you for being the winners for this edition. And for those who got the answer correctly, but we are not the fastest fingers. I think we have to do some pedicure on your fingers next time so that they can come out fast. We say a very big thank you to all of you, and we pray that God will keep us alive till we meet again for the next edition. And I remain your host, Engineer Ben O.C. Oko, signing out. Thank you, and do have a wonderful weekend.